Понял, под моим управлением. Наблюдаю вас 292 на 94.
Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have a very interesting video that I'm going to make comparing these two aircraft, the Su-25 and the A-10 that I'm going to show later, to each other, but especially if they are supposed to be added to War Thunder right now, okay? So I'm going to show a little bit of the payloads of them and just the way that they work in general, and if they should be added right now or if they have to be a little bit later, you know. Let's start with the Su-25, which is a very famous aircraft. It's just an attacker, as you see, twin engine. It has the bathtub in the pilot seat, and it has some protection on the engines as well. Pretty strong. It can take up to 256 flares or chaff divided, as you see down there. And yeah, it can take some pretty cool ammo because the cannon is the 30mm based on the cannon that you see on the BMP-2, for example, and stuff like that. It's similar to that cannon, it's not exactly the same, but yeah. So it is a very cool cannon and very strong cannon. And let's see the loadout options. So first of all, we have we have 10 pylons, of course, on each side. We have 5 of them. And let's see some of the options that we can take and compare them to aircraft that we already have in the Russian 3. So of course here we have the R-60M, which is already well-known missile in War Thunder, and just a normal missile in general for self-defense. Also we can take some bombs, rockets, and air-to-ground missiles. So we're going to talk about this pylon and this pylon, the out the second out pylon. So we can take missiles like the S-25L, which is a missile that is already in game with the Sukhoi 22. It's not the greatest missile ever, but it is pretty amazing in general because of the payload of it. But it is a laser guided. It just doesn't have the maneuverability of the other missiles, but it's still a very cool missile. In this payload you can take 2 of them, for example, or even a lot of different options on bombs. Of course, FAB 100s, 250s, 500s. Even in this game, of course, we have the cluster munitions that we don't have in War Thunder, some anti-runway bombs as well. But it's just stuff that we don't have it in War Thunder. You can also take 4 of the FAB 500s and some of the rockets as well. The B-13, well-known rocket. Of course, the B-8 with the S-8, as you see here. Those large rockets, the same rockets as later Mi-24s, and later, in general, helicopters of the Russian 3. As you see, we have the famous S-24 and some other rockets like the S-5 and the S-25 without a guidance. So it's pretty alright if you think about it. It's not the most amazing thing ever. Here in these pilots you can take the KH-29, the KH-25, as you see. So a rocket that is already in game right now. And of course you can take, for example, this would be a very good loadout in War Thunder. The rockets for lightly armored vehicles and the guided missiles for the more armored versions of the missiles. Of course you can still take the S-25 and the same bombs as you see. Some fuel tanks, an ECM pod you can actually take for the Sukhoi 25, which is odd, and the same rockets as well, but the main thing is the S-25s, and in these you can actually take the same things, just a new pod with a gun pod. But let's take this, and the main difference to this, the inner pylons, is that you can take, instead of the KH-25, you can take the KH-29. As you see, they are all laser guided. So the idea here is, I mean, of course, you can take only Um, 4 of them in the missiles that we already have in War Thunder. And here you can technically take 8 laser guided missiles. But still, with 8 laser guided missiles, it is a very slow aircraft in general. So maybe they can actually nerf a little bit on this amount of missiles that it can take and destroy tanks. I mean, here you have 8 tanks that you can destroy. So I'm going to later a little bit, I'm going to test it out, but in general it can take a lot of missiles, which would be a little bit too much. But in general, I think compared to the Su-22, for example, or the 17, it is a much more modern aircraft, but it is very limited in speed and stuff like that, so it's not the greatest thing ever, you know? And as for the, of course, you can take loadouts just for bombs, as you see. A lot of loadout options, you know. So yeah, a pretty amazing aircraft in general, and I think it should be added. Maybe not right now, but it should be added in a few upcoming patches. A pretty amazing aircraft. And I'm talking about the Su-25A or the normal variant, not the T, because the A was much more widely used. For the Americans, we would see the A-10A, which is the first variant of the A-10. As you see, we have a lot of, I mean, I don't think anybody used the A4, but there are some weird camos in here, even a Russian one, if that makes sense. I mean, what the German one? Look at that. That's funny, right? But let's see with the normal camo. And here we have a much more wider options of types of loadouts that you can take at the same time. Let's see. Here we can have already some bombs and stuff, some ECM pods as you see. But let's take some IR missiles. It could take the P variant, so just use the P variant. You can take 4 of them if you want to, you know. But I wouldn't advise on it. You can take even Mark 82s and stuff like that. So there's a lot of bombs in here, as you see. Cluster bombs, you know. The CM pod that it would be not useful in War Thunder, but still. And in these inner pylons, as you can see here, we can take some rockets. So it is the, let's see, the small one, as you see. It just takes just a little bit of rockets, you know. So I mean, I wouldn't advise to use it, but it has rockets. I would advise to use the bombs, as of course. Maybe even a type of bomb that is not added to War Thunder yet, which is the, I think it's this one, maybe, I don't know. But it is the Snake Eye bomb, which is a high drag bomb, which I don't think it's this one, but still. Let's get some bombs over here. As you see here, we can take some of the Mavericks. I don't know if it could use early Mavericks, but maybe, and that would be the main problem. I don't think it's the most amazing thing ever. I mean, as you see, you can take like the Maverick, 3 Maverick 2s, for example, here. You can take bombs as well, as you see, 3 Mark 82s. So you can take a very heavy payload, some rockets, but in general you would use this one, the Maverick D, as you see. So 6 missiles. Let's see what else you can take here. Here would be some external fuel tanks for longer ranges, but probably some bombs. 3 Mark 82s. As you see, 3 Mark 82s. And here you can take more bombs, as you see. More bombs and more bombs. So in general, you can take a lot of Mark 82s, for example, but there aren't any other options. The basic the best options that you would have is the Mavericks together with the Mark 82s. Of course, this is the Maverick D, which is a little bit better, which could have the double the distance that it can track targets, so it would be like 10 kilometers or something. But the thing is just maybe this missile is too much, but we probably would see early variants of the Maverick as well. So it is not the most amazing thing ever. Of course, we have the GAU-8 here, the cannon, which is of course pretty strong, but it's nothing broken, I don't think. So the idea wouldn't, I mean, it would still be a large aircraft and very slow aircraft. It's just an attacker. So there were a couple of leaks about this aircraft, and this is just the idea behind it, and just to show a little bit on how and the way that the aircraft are and what they have, you know. So I think they are barely making it War Thunder capable, you know. They're kind of like, I mean, as you see here, I'm overweight, so it would take less fuel. But you know, the thing is, I don't know if this would be OP or not, but it probably would be a little bit for ground battles. But this should be top tier anyway, so. But yeah, guys, this was it. I hope you enjoyed, and leave it in the comments. What do you think? A-10 and Su-25 should be added or not right now in War Thunder. So yeah, bye guys, see ya.